talofa lava to all of our viewers today. Special talofa to all of our Year 10 communication students. Welcome to our show today. Make sure before our lesson starts that you turn off your phone and that there are no other distractions during our lesson. Let's start. Today's lesson will be focusing on our Strand 1, listening and speaking. The key learning objective is to demonstrate proficiency in speaking and listening for social purposes. So if you look at the word proficiency, I'm sure you are struggling to understand what is the meaning of the word proficiency. So to be proficient is to be better, to be improved, and also to gain extra skills. Ina ia mawhai o na whaalelea, i le ngangana Beretania, be a whaapea e te tautalai I aso uma. Social purposes means speaking language every day. So this lesson will give us key ideas on how to improve the way that we speak and listen in social purposes. Good. This lesson will focus on identifying the importance of communication skills, using a brainstorm and concept map. We're also going to discuss the barriers of communication, and lastly, how to follow instructions. So what is Communication English? Communication English, it focuses on basic skills of English. It also uses TVET tools, texts, and scenarios to understand how you can use or apply English language in social purposes. And the last point, what is Communication English? It builds your confidence in basic speaking and listening skills. Good. So let's look at the process of communication. As we all know, communication is between two or more people. The sender or the person that is speaking and the person that is receiving or hearing the message that you are sending. When do you send a message? So this is you sending a message. The person that is receiving the message needs to understand the message that you have sent. So inside, there is a decoding part or understanding the message. Once you understand the message, and then you respond. So now you can see the connection between the sender of the message and the receiver of the message in order for them to respond. If the message is not clear, obviously the decoding or understanding part will also be unclear. Then what will happen to the response? The response will be wrong. Why? Because the message is not specific, the message is not clear. So when the person heard the message or did not hear the message properly, will respond in a different manner. So let's think about communication. So broadly in your head, what do you think communication is? Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes to write down a brainstorm. Remember, a brainstorm is an explosion of ideas. Anything that you are thinking about when you look at the word communication, make sure that you write it down on a piece of paper. So how is your brainstorm going? Okay, everyone, let's look at the brainstorm that I wrote down, and hopefully that our brainstorms are the same. Communication, always remember to put the main word inside the brainstorm. Then, like I said, it is an explosion of ideas. Anything that you know or have experienced before, when you think about the word communication, just write it down in no particular order. You can organize your ideas at the end. So if you look at the words that I wrote down, you have talking. Yes, communication has a lot of talking, has a lot of listening, a lot of speaking, understanding, looking. So when you are thinking about communication, you are looking at the person that is speaking to you. Instructions, following those instructions. Watching through demonstration. You hear as you are listening as well. Noise, this could be a barrier. Responding, ignoring, and observation. So after you have wrote down your ideas in no particular order, using a brainstorm, you can use a concept map in order to organize those ideas. So think about communication. What are the bad and the good ways to be a good communicator? So let's look at our concept map. Our concept map has organized my ideas into the bad ways of why people don't hear or listen properly, and the good ways in order for you to be a good communicator. For example, bad, inattention. So inattention means that you are not paying attention. So the person or the sender is trying to communicate with you, but you are not paying attention. E te leo whaalongo, e te leo malamalama fo'i ili au wala lo taumawhai e tangata e whaapsootai atu ia te oe. Language, as we all know, English is our second language, so it can also be a barrier. In order for you to understand the message in English, you need to understand English. I've also put down barriers as a bad way to be a communicator because there are so many barriers. For example, distractions such as phones, loud music, or also the rain. So these can be bad barriers because you cannot hear the message over the noise. And the last example is being bored. When you are listening to someone speak for a very long time, you tend to forget what the message was. If you look down here at our good examples of being a good communicator, you need to be active, an active listener. You need to pay attention. Okay, so if we look down at the bottom of our concept map, we're looking at good ways to be a communicator. The first point is to be an active communicator. To be an active communicator, you need to listen and pay attention. You need to listen carefully to make sure that you are not distracted by the noise or anything else that is distracting you during the time of the lesson. And lastly, you need to respond correctly. Remember, to respond correctly, you need to understand the message that was sent by the sender. Okay, so let's look at some tools that we use within our class to hopefully that we could put them into categories of how to use those tools. Okay, the next part, let's try and look at our tools. These are common tools that we use in our class. Hopefully that you can identify the names of these tools, not only their Samoan name, but also their English name. So let's look at our first tool. Can you identify the name of this tool? That's correct. It is a paintbrush. A fasamoina pulumu valiatsa. Our second tool, this one looks very familiar. It is a spade. A fasamoina ole suwo. Okay, let's look at our third tool. This is a very unusual looking tool. Yes, that's right. It is a pickaxe. Fasamoina ole piki. Our fourth tool, this is a common used tool at home. It is a hammer. Fasamoina ole samala. Our next tool, this is one common tool that we use at home. It is a crowbar. Fasamoina ole kolopa. Our next tool, yes, this is one common tool that we use at home. They are needles. Ole nila. And our last tool, students, this is one common tool that we use at home for cooking. It is a wooden spoon. Ole sipuni la'au. Okay, let's review our tools again. We have a paintbrush, polipulumu valiata, a spade, polisuo, a pickaxe, polipiki. We have a hammer, samala, a crowbar, polikolopa, needle, nila, and our last tool is a wooden spoon. Polisipungi la'au. Okay, let's look at another tool that we commonly use at home or also at school. This is it's a scissors, also known in Samoan language, ole selaulu. How would you use this tool to make sure that you do not get hurt? You need to follow specific instructions. Okay. Let's start. Hold the scissors straight by knowing the line to make sure that the line is straight where you're going to cut. And then you put your fingers into the scissors. Hold the fabric that you're going to cut. Place the fabric between the scissors. So this is between the top part and the bottom part. You put the fabric in between the scissors and then you cut. Make sure that the line again is straight so you can make a straight cut. Then you cut all the way through. All the way through. And there you go. 2 separate fabrics. Instructions are very important to make sure that you do not get hurt. Then you cut all the way through. All the way through. And there you go. 2 separate fabrics. Instructions are very important to make sure that you do not get hurt. Okay, so now we already know the importance of following specific instructions in order for us to make sure that we do not get hurt. The next part of our lesson is to describe a tool. So think about any tool that you can use at home and also in class and try to describe its physical features. physical features, it means what it looks like. The tool that I have chosen today is a pickaxe, also known as a bikie. So if you look at the pickaxe, it is very long. The handle is very long. It also has a rubber part to make sure that you can grip on without letting it go. It is also quite heavy because it has a metal top. So if you look at the top of the pickaxe, this part is quite thick and is quite wide in comparison to the other side. The other side is quite narrow and it is quite sharp. Do you know what subject uses this tool? Yes, you're correct. Agriculture science. Now I've already described what our pickaxe looks like. Our next lesson, I'll make sure to show you or demonstrate how to use this tool in a safe manner. Do you remember what we have learned today? Let's recap on what we have learned today. Communication English strengthens the way that you listen, hear, and understand a message before you respond. Remember, students, the importance of giving specific instructions, that they are not too hard. The person that is listening to the message hears you carefully and make sure that they respond in a good manner. Because if they do not respond back correctly, that means they did not hear the instructions carefully. So always remember, to be a good communicator, you need to speak clearly, give specific instructions and clear instructions, and when you respond back, you can understand the message faster in order for you to respond correctly. Well, there you have it. That's our lesson for today. But until next time, tofa. Goodbye.